Good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome back to Emergency Management Associates. I realize we're coming on the air very late today. It is now 5:20 p.m. Eastern Time in the Eastern Time Zone along the Eastern Continental Divide. Guys, I apologize for that. Our earlier broadcast just after 4 p.m. about 1 hour ago didn't work. Shut down by YouTube. Okay. I did a complete analysis of what happened. We had plenty of internet. As I said, I paid my bill earlier this month, right after the 3rd. I paid our bill and we had plenty of internet bandwidth. That was not the problem. The problem was simple. It was YouTube. YouTube took us down. Now, I don't know whether they're going to take us down again. I'm not going to give them a chance. Okay? I'm just plain not going to give them a chance. Today's program is important. The problem was simple. It was YouTube. On the previous broadcast, you can go back and look at it because it's still here, and I'm going to keep it here. We previously talked about Tropical Storm Erin that sometime tomorrow will develop into a hurricane. Okay, it will develop into probably either a Category 1 or Category 2 storm, and by Saturday, it will become a Category 3 hurricane. Okay, it's not expected to hit land at all. Not at all. But it's going to go up the mid-Atlantic Ocean, just about 100, 150 miles offshore from the East Coast. It's not going to touch Florida, Georgia, South, North Carolina, Virginia, but as it goes north, it may hit Maine, it may hit New Hampshire, it could possibly even hit those areas around Nova Scotia, Canada. Okay? That's what I'm going to tell you. You can go back and watch our previous program that we showed you earlier. I'm not taking it down. I was contemplating taking it down, but I decided against that. Okay? I'm going to leave it up for all of you to see. Now, I'm trying to bring up our monitor here to see what's going to happen here on our program. I'm watching our satellite broadcast right here directly in front of me off to the side of my broadcast software. Now, I brought up my secondary monitor, which is actually my primary monitor with this program. That was the first, on my primary monitor here to my left, was my first indication that our program had stopped broadcasting. Then it stopped broadcasting here on my main computer that you see me on right now. Now, when it did that, I realized we were in trouble. But guys, I'm not giving up. I'm on the air again right now. Again, it was YouTube that took us down. I'm totally convinced of it. I did the gosh, that's wild. I had some fog on my camera lens. That's never happened before either. Anyway, guys, this is an important broadcast. I talked about Hurricane or Tropical Storm Erin. There will be Hurricane Erin by tomorrow. There is another storm further south and to the east, just coming off of Africa right now. It's a tropical depression, and it could turn out to be a hurricane sometime late next week. That hurricane could hit Florida. It could also move into the Gulf of America. That remains to be seen. They tell us that they're not going to worry about that for right now. They're just monitoring Tropical Storm Erin, and that's fine and good. Later today, they're going to fly a great big huge aircraft, an Air Force aircraft that's outfitted with all kinds of scientific instruments. They're going to fly it right into the eye of the storm and gather valuable information about what Tropical Storm Erin is doing right now. If it turns out that we need to be more prepared, I will come back on the air later after I get the preliminary data from the Air Force. But right now, I'm going to talk about the volcanoes and the earthquakes happening off the Pacific Northwest. Prior to that, I want to show you some other interesting information of earthquakes that happened here around the world. Okay, for that I'm going to go over the USGS map. I'm going to take down our EMA banner. I'm going to take down our webcam here as well. Guys, I'm showing you right now the Kamchatka Peninsula that belongs to Russia. The Kamchatka Peninsula is part of the country of Russia. Off the coast of Russia down here in the North Kuril Islands, we have our 5.0 earthquake here today. Again, I told you this was going to happen. They're showing fewer and fewer aftershocks. It's not that the aftershocks have gotten fewer. To a certain extent, they have. We're still seeing about 20 to 25 aftershocks happening every day, but USGS continues to deny they're happening. They're showing this one 5.0 earthquake. Just to the north there on the tip of the Kamchatka Peninsula is a 4.6 moderate earthquake. This is 45 kilometers deep, or 45 miles deep. This is a 4.5 earthquake here. This is a 4.5 moderate earthquake here. This is 43 miles deep. Off the coast of the tip of the peninsula here, we have another 4.6 earthquake here. This is 12.3 miles deep. Off the coast, these are shallower quakes. This is 6.2 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep. This is a 4.5. This is a 4.7 here. Okay. This is also 6.2 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep. Further over here on the east side of the deep trench here, the edge of the plate, we have a 4.4 earthquake here. This is also 6.2 miles deep. Notice that all the offshore quakes are very shallow earthquakes. The earthquake here at the point of the Kamchatka Peninsula, it is 43 miles deep. This is 43.2 miles deep. Deeper than that. Deeper than others here along the actual trench. Out here in the Kuril Islands, this is 39 kilometers deep. I'm sorry, 34 kilometers deep. Okay, a 5.0 earthquake. So right here in line with the tip of the Kamchatka Peninsula, this is an even deeper quake. Okay, offshore we have very shallow quakes. Now guys, we may continue to see these shallow earthquakes, and we may continue to see very moderate earthquakes out here. But I believe that's what's going to happen. Now, as I've said before, that main shock was a 9.4 earthquake, a 9.4 magnitude earthquake. It was a plate rupture, a full plate rupture. It separated. Okay, that is why we're still seeing these aftershocks today. This had just been a 6.0, 6.5. We would not have had a full plate rupture here, but it was a 9.4. They said it was an 8.8. It's a 9.4 earthquake. Okay, we're going to still see aftershocks here for months, even years. Okay, that's going to continue to happen. Let's go down here to northern Japan, over here to the island of Hokkaido, Japan. Hokkaido, Japan, we see a 4.3 moderate earthquake here. It's in a semi-forested area in the hills of Hokkaido. Okay, this is 79 kilometers deep. 4.3 moderate earthquake. Now, there are some villages up here. There are some villages of people living here. They may have felt this moderate earthquake. Okay, Japan is used to earthquakes. Okay, all a moderate earthquake will do is shake plates and knives and glasses and dishes in a cupboard. Okay, it won't bounce them out usually. Just shake them. It'll knock pictures off of walls. It'll knock books and knickknacks off of shelves. But that's all a moderate earthquake will do. Large 5.0, 5.9 earthquakes can be very much more substantial of an earthquake and can cause a large amount of damage. Now, we saw an earthquake, and I've spoken about this before. We saw an earthquake in 2014 in Los Angeles. Okay. I saw it live on KTLA Channel 5 television out of Los Angeles. One of my buddies, Carlos Amesca, was a broadcaster. He was the main, uh, what should I say, the main mouth of the network. He was a primary anchor along with his co anchor. When that earth started shaking, they dove underneath the desk, underneath the broadcast desk. When Carlos and his partner got back up from out underneath the desk, they said it was a 4.5 earthquake. Now, I was asked by the LA EOC and the other agencies there in Los Angeles to get on the next plane out from Salt Lake City and fly to LA, which I did. Now, what did I see and why did they fly me to LA? They wanted my expertise as to what had happened. They wanted my expertise as to earthquake recovery. That I provided them. But what I found out is their 4.5 earthquake was a large earthquake. Did a major amount of damage. Okay. Yes, it did a large amount of damage, but I consider water mains, gas mains breaking, and glass break all over Los Angeles County. Literally, all over Los Angeles County. Now, when that happens, it's more than just moderate earthquake. LA, or I shouldn't say LA, but the USGS and Caltech can say all they want about it being a 4.5 earthquake. But a 4.5 earthquake cannot break water mains and cannot break gas mains all over Los Angeles and also break windows, glass breaks all over LA. Can't do it. Can't do it. I don't care what the USBS says. Those can't do it. It hasn't happened before. This earthquake in Hokkaido, Japan, was a 4.3 moderate earthquake. Knocked books off of shelves, yes. Knickknacks, knocked pictures off walls, yes. Can do that. Rattled glasses, plates, and dishes in cupboards, yes. But it's not going to cause major damage. Moderate damage. Moderate damage. Now, USBS can say all they want about these 4.0 to 4.9 quakes being light earthquakes. There's no such thing. 3.0, 3.9 are still considered small quakes by USBS standards. They call 4.0, 4.9 light earthquakes. No such thing. No such thing at all. They cause damage. Light earthquakes don't cause damage. They don't want anybody to realize exactly what's going on. That's why they do what they do. They want to make sure we have little or no information about anything. They have downgraded earthquakes. They have renamed earthquakes so people don't get shook up. But I'm here to tell you right now, what USGS is doing is wrong. It's wrong. It's violating the confidence of the people, the citizens of this country, and also the world from seeing exactly what's going on. It's my belief that everyone deserves to see what's going on. I'll stand with that for as long as I live. I stand with that as long as you all live as well. I'm not going to take what they say as gospel truth any longer. I haven't accepted that for years. I'm not going to start now. This earthquake in northern Japan here, this also was a 4.3 earthquake. This is 55 miles deep. 55 miles deep. This is still a shallow earthquake. This is still a very shallow earthquake. Okay? It's over here in northern Japan. This earthquake, again, is only going to do moderate damage, if that. Again, the people here in Japan are very used to these earthquakes. They happen all the time. It's when they get to be 5.0 and larger that people have to worry about what's going on. This is only a 4.3 earthquake, just like the one on the Hokkaido. Okay? Let's go further south here. Right? Now, while we're here in this area, you don't see any earthquakes here in southern Japan or even Taiwan. Right now, Taiwan is getting hit. Taiwan and China are getting hit by a major cyclone. Cyclone in these regions are like a hurricane is over in our eastern Pacific Ocean along the west coast of the U.S. and also over in the Gulf and over on the east coast of the United States. They're hurricanes. This is a major hurricane over here, and it's hitting Taiwan and China right now. They have made evacuations to higher ground, but the winds are very high-powered winds, upwards of 100 miles an hour. 65 to 100 miles per hour here in Taiwan and China here. There are going to be injuries. There are going to be fatalities here in Taiwan and over in China. Now, whether China wants to tell us what has actually happened over there, it remains to be seen. But over in Taiwan, we will get information about that cyclone. It's ongoing right now. It hit last night. It's ongoing right now. Let's go over here into the Philippines here. Okay, over here just north of Mindanao, Philippines, this large island over here in the Philippines is called Mindanao, Philippines. We've had an earthquake last weekend over here near Davao City. Just a couple days ago, we had an earthquake just south of Mindanao, Philippines out here, large earthquake. Now today, over here on the north side of the island here, we have another 4.2 moderate earthquake. This is 337 miles deep. 337 miles deep. Guys, this is a deep earthquake. This is a deep earthquake. Now, I told you the other day when we had a deep earthquake over in Indonesia, what was going to happen. Okay? I told you we would probably have a 6.5 to 6.6 earthquake in Indonesia, and that did happen. But it was only a 6.3. This earthquake may cause a 5.5 to 5.6 earthquake. More shallow and large earthquake. This is only a 4.2 here, but it is a deep earthquake. Again, this deep earthquake here may cause upwards of a 5 to 5.6 earthquake here, sometime within the next 72 hours to 10 days. Sometime in the next 72 hours to 10 days, we're going to see probably a 5.5 to 5.6 earthquake. That remains to be seen. If we get another 5.3, I'll be satisfied with that. But it could be upwards of a 5.5 to 5.6 more shallow earthquake. This is a deep 337 mile deep earthquake, 4.2 right here between the islands of the Philippines. Okay, now let's continue back out here. Again, they're hardly showing any earthquakes at all here in Indonesia, which is very sad. There are 36 earthquakes here in Indonesia. 36 from Sumatra over here to the southeast here, all the way over here into Java, and all the way over here into Papua Indonesia. Okay, let's go down here in the Banda Sea here. Here in the Banda Sea, we have a 4.3 moderate earthquake here. This earthquake is 78 kilometers deep. Still a fairly shallow earthquake. It's a 4.3 moderate quake. They're showing a larger quake over here in Papua Indonesia. This is a 4.6 earthquake. This is a 4.6 moderate earthquake here. This is a very shallow quake, 6.2 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep here, Papua Indonesia. It's only 117 miles west-northwest of Abapura. We've had 6.0s, we've had 7.0 earthquakes here near Abapura before. We may still see them coming up, okay? Let's go over here to the Tonga, Fiji region, here in the Solomon Islands. In the Solomon Islands here. This is 67 miles south-southeast of Lata, Solomon Islands, out here in the ocean, out here in the Pacific Ocean. This is offshore from any island. This is a very shall I say very strong, 6.0, 6.9 are considered to be very strong quakes. This is a 6.3 very strong earthquake down here in the South Pacific. Okay, 67 miles south-southeast of Lata. You can see Lata here in your picture here, Lata, Indonesia. Okay, this is 19 kilometers deep, very shallow earthquake. Now, is there a possibility that we could have a much larger earthquake than this? It's a possibility. Usually when we have shallow quakes like this, we don't get larger quakes after that. Yes, it can happen, but it doesn't happen very often. Okay? Now, this earthquake is off closer to this island here. Okay? Yes, there are people that live here. They may have felt some kind of shaking here, but still, it's far enough off the island that they probably didn't feel much shaking at all. This is a very strong earthquake down here. Now, remember this earthquake, because we're going to also see it on seismic in a few more minutes. Okay? This hit at 12:22 p.m. Eastern Time today. 12:22 Eastern Time today. Remember that time as well. Okay? That was in the Solomon Islands. Going over to Tonga area, Fiji here. This is 179 miles east of Fuka, Fiji. Okay? 4.3 moderate earthquake. This is also a deep quake. 394 miles deep. Deep quake. This 4.3 earthquake is going to propagate a much larger, shallower quake to the tune of probably upwards of a 5.5 earthquake. This quake is going to propagate a much larger earthquake, even upwards of a 5.5 large earthquake. Remember that. It's going to happen within the next 72 hours to 10 days. Okay? As a result of this Fiji earthquake here. Only a 4.3, but it's 394 kilometers deep. Deep earthquake. Let's go over here to Tonga. Okay? This is a 4.8 earthquake. Very shallow, 6.2 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep. 4.8. Still a moderate quake. This one is 28 miles east-southeast of Hiifotonga. 28 miles east-southeast of Hiifotonga. Now, you don't see Hiifotonga except if we zoom in here, right there. There's Hiifotonga right there. 28 miles. I'm sorry, 28 miles. Now, this 4.8 earthquake was not even felt over here on Hiifotonga. It was number one, it was too shallow, and also it was too far away from the island. The ocean waters absorbed the shockwaves of this quake. Let's zoom out here. Okay? I believe we just got through talking about this one in Luvuka, Fiji, 4.3. Let's go out here to the east. Okay? This is a 5.6 large earthquake. 5.5 to 5.9 are considered to be very large earthquakes. This one was 97 miles east-northeast of Niuafotonga. Almost 100 miles east-northeast of Niuafotonga here. Nobody felt this quake either. Look where it's at. It's on the Tonga Trench. Also 6.2 miles deep. Very shallow earthquake. A very large, very shallow earthquake here on the Tonga Trench. Let's go further south. Down here in the Kermadec Islands, we have a 4.6 earthquake here. It's 221 kilometers deep. Still a mid-range deep earthquake. Mid-range deep earthquake, 4.6 earthquake. Okay? Not felt by anybody. Now it's in the Kermadec Islands. The Kermadec Islands here are uninhabited islands set by birds. They cannot get boats or ships into these islands. Okay? except during high tide, and only motorboats at that, skiffs, because there is volcanic rock right near the surface of the ocean. If the scientists wanted to get in at low tide, they would have holes torn in the bottom of the boats. They have to go in here at high tide, and as a result, nobody lives here on this island except birds. It's a bird sanctuary. Okay? Now notice this. Yesterday on the southeast side of the big island of New Zealand here, the main island of New Zealand, we had a large earthquake here, 5.0. They're not showing any earthquakes at all again. Not showing any earthquakes. I had to use my device to show you earthquakes here on the big main island of Rule Island, New Zealand, and the South Island to the south. There were 6 earthquakes here yesterday. There are 5 earthquakes here today on the South Island. Over in the North Island, there are 21 earthquakes. 21 earthquakes here on the North Island. Again, the USGS does not think it's important to show anything going on. Yes, we have some 4.0 moderate earthquakes down here around the south part of the island. Most of the other earthquakes around Raoul Island, the North Island here in New Zealand, are minor 2.3 to 2.7 earthquakes. That's all that's happening here, except for a couple 4-pointers because of that 5.0 earthquake yesterday at the southeast part of Raoul Island, Raule Island here in New Zealand. Okay? Want to make sure everybody understands what's going on there. Look over here in South America. There are 34 earthquakes here in South America. We have a lot of earthquakes down here in south central Chile. We have more earthquakes over here in northern Chile and Argentina. We have a couple earthquakes here in Peru and a couple earthquakes here in Colombia. But notice, USGS does not want to take responsibility for anything. They want us to believe that nothing's going on. They're not showing anything here in Central America either. There are 12 earthquakes here in Central America, and there are 42 earthquakes here in southern Mexico. That's what's happening. They don't want us to know what's happening. Heaven forbid. Heaven forbid. Let's go down here to Puerto Rico here. Over in the Mona Passage here, right between the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. This is the Mona Passage, the body of water between these two islands. This is a 3.1 small earthquake. Up here to the north side near Puerto Rico here, still in the Mona Passage, this is also a 3.0 earthquake. Up to the northeast here, northeast of Puerto Rico, this is also 3.2 earthquake, small earthquake. Now, let's go over here. See this great big huge earthquake fault that runs east and west here, over just north of Puerto Rico, north of the Dominican Republic, skirting the south part of Cuba, going all the way over here to Guatemala. It's a trench. It's a trench, guys. Why? Why? Now, guys, this is a huge trench. It's a huge earthquake fault here. Huge, huge earthquake fault here. Now, this earthquake fault carries earthquakes from South America out here into the Caribbean, all over here. All over here. We see earthquakes every day over in this region. Okay? Goes out here in the Caribbean Ocean. Then it turns north over here to these islands here. Okay? It keeps going in an easterly direction here. Keeps going in the easterly direction here. It goes north of Jamaica. Continues eastbound north of Jamaica here. It skirts the coast of Cuba here. Then it continues eastbound just north of the Dominican Republic. It continues eastbound north of Puerto Rico here. It goes over here and it turns just after it gets north and east of the U.S. Virgin Islands. Then it makes a distinct westerly or southwesterly turn here, southeasterly turn here, and goes over here to South America. Skirts Leeward Islands here and goes to South America here, and then it makes a distinct westerly turn from the Atlantic Ocean out here into Venezuela. Trinidad, Tobago, and all the way over here. Okay? All the way over here. That's what this earthquake fault does. Carries earthquakes from Central America all the way over here. And today, these earthquakes in southwestern Puerto Rico have nothing to do with that earthquake fault, but these earthquakes up here do. They were dropped off by that earthquake fault. These earthquakes in southwestern Puerto Rico have nothing to do with it, though. Completely separate issue. We have 3 earthquakes here. These earthquakes are due from two major earthquakes that hit December 26th and December 28th, 2019. Man-made earthquakes. 8.0, 8.4 earthquakes back in 2019. This earthquake here is a 3.0 earthquake near Guanico, Puerto Rico. My buddy Dominic, who is the captain of the Puerto Rican Police Department, lives down here in Guanico with his family. They felt this quake. Okay? Further out here to the northeast, these 2 earthquakes are also due to those 8.0 and 8.4 quakes nearly 6 years ago. This is a 2.4 earthquake near Magas Arriba, Puerto Rico. Just north of there is also a 2.3 earthquake here, 1 mile north of Magas, Puerto Rico, basically in Magas, Puerto Rico here. Both of these earthquakes are shallow earthquakes. This is a 7.7 and this is an 8.7 mile deep earthquake. Okay? Those are aftershocks from the 8.0, 8.4 earthquakes almost 6 years ago. That is why I'm telling you the earthquakes off the Kamchatka Peninsula, we're going to continue to see aftershocks for many, many years now. Gonna happen. Gonna happen. That's what happens when you have major earthquakes. Now, these are not the only earthquakes around. Of course, USGS is still not showing much of anything going on. They're not showing the 2 earthquakes over here in Scandinavia. 1 earthquake over here in southwestern Sweden, and 1 earthquake over here in southeastern Norway. Both of these are minor tremors. Both those earthquakes are minor tremors here. Now, over here in Iceland, we still have earthquakes here, but again, USGS is not talking about it. Not talking about it at all. Okay? Now, there are developments about the Icelandic volcanic eruptions. I will get to those tomorrow, but I want to show you these now. You deserve to know the truth, and we're going to bring you the truth, okay? They're not showing any earthquakes at all here in Europe. That's a fallacy. It's a complete lie. For them omitting earthquakes here, it's a lie. If you omit information, you're lying to the public. You're lying to the public. They're not showing any earthquakes here in the Mideast, which is a joke. Huge joke. And I've told you this before. Over here in western Turkey, in the Turkish-Syria border region, there are 42 earthquakes here today. They're not showing any. Not showing any. These earthquakes are anywhere from 3.5 all the way down to 1.2 tremors. 42 earthquakes here. Why are they not showing them? We have even more earthquakes here in northern Ecuador. Not Ecuador, I'm sorry. Northern Turkey here. And even more earthquakes here in northwestern Turkey as a result of the 6.3 earthquake we had here the other day. We're going to continue to see earthquakes here for a very long time. Over here in the Aegean Sea here, we still have some tremors going on here. That's a result of magma down beneath the surface of this ocean here. Down in the crust of the earth beneath the Aegean Sea here, we have magma. Magma that's pounding away on bedrock, causing earth movement, causing rock fracturing called earth movement. That's what's happening here. And again, USGS is denying it's happening. It is. They have about 22 earthquakes here in Greece. They're not talking about that either. Over here in Italy, Stromboli volcano and also Mount Etna are both erupting. We have some minor earthquakes over here in southern Italy and over here in northeastern Sicily. We have some earthquakes, and yes, these are minor earthquakes over here off the south coast, southwest coast of southeast coast of Italy here. Why? Because we have a volcano, guys. Mount Vesuvius is active. It is steaming. Luckily, we have a satellite photograph of Mount Vesuvius steaming. We have minor earthquakes here. We have tremors. We also have some 4.5 earthquakes that happen about every other day. Okay? At some point in time, this volcano is going to erupt. But right now, they're still holding off saying anything about it. Okay? Now, to the north here, north central Italy has 25 earthquakes here. 25 earthquakes here in north central Italy, right in this area. They're not showing them. Now, I've said for about 2 months now that these earthquakes are going to cause a large earthquake. I still hold by that. Anytime we see swarms of earthquakes like we're seeing here, we usually see 5.0 earthquakes. I still believe that's going to happen at some point. Okay, up to the north. Okay, up here to the north, we have the Alps Mountains. Over here on the northeast side of Italy, we have some minor tremors here. Over on the southeast side, we still have some minor tremors here. I shouldn't say southeast, it's the southwest and northwest here. In the Alps Mountains, we still have some tremors here. And yes, we've had some landslides here causing earthquakes. France, Switzerland, and Germany all have tremors here. They're not showing them here. Not showing them. Here in Spain, we have some minor earthquakes happening here in southern Spain, and a couple up here near the northern part of Portugal and northern part of Spain up here. Just minor earthquakes. Only minor earthquakes. Now, they're not showing anything in Africa, but we're having earthquakes here in Africa as well. Sad that they're not showing anything. That's a fallacy. Let's go over here to the United States. I've basically taken you on a fast tour of the world here. Let's go over here to Tennessee. Okay? Actually, I shouldn't say Tennessee, but we have earthquakes over here just west of the North Carolina border of Tennessee. This is over on the north, it's in North Carolina, the border of South Carolina here. We have a 2.7 earthquake. But guess what? It's not the only earthquake here today. This is a minor 2.7 earthquake, but it's not the only earthquake here in North or South Carolina. We have earthquakes over here on the east coast of North Carolina. We have earthquakes down here around Savannah, Georgia as well. And Kings Mountain, the volcano here in South Carolina. We have earthquakes here, 2.2, 2.5, even 3.5 earthquakes here near the coast of both these Carolinas. Okay, we have earthquakes over here in Georgia as well. Savannah, Georgia. They're happening. They're happening. Why USGS would avoid talking about it is beyond me. They're not showing any earthquakes again here on the New Matter Fault, but I showed you earthquakes here yesterday. They're still happening. Whether or not they show them is immaterial because I've shown you that those earthquakes happen every day. We have earthquakes over here in Texas. Northern Texas here, let's show this. Actually, this is in central Oklahoma here. This is Minco, Oklahoma. This is a 1.6 tremor. These earthquakes are a result of oil and gas fracking operations. This is near Guthrie, Oklahoma. This is a 1.8 tremor again due to oil and gas fracking operations here. In Texas, every one of these earthquakes are due to oil and gas operations here. Southern Texas here is near Pires, Texas. Just North of here, north of Pearsall, we had a 5.1 earthquake here about 6 months ago. Okay, that happened. Up here, you see this red earthquake. This near Stanton, Texas. This is a 1.2 tremor here. These are oil and gas fracking earthquakes. Let's zoom in on this. I want to show you this. Look at the oil and gas pads all over this area. This earthquake here that's red just happened. This is almost directly between two oil and gas platform pumping operations. This earthquake over here to the southeast is a 2.7 magnitude earthquake. 9 miles east of Stanton, Texas. Also, literally right next to several oil and gas platforms here. This earthquake to the south here, this is a 1.7 tremor. Again, oil and gas fracking earthquakes. Look where this is. Just to the northeast of there is another oil and gas platform, and just to the west there is another platform right there. Oil and gas fracking earthquakes. Okay, that's what happens. Now, there are over 586,000 pumps and jacks in Oklahoma. I can only imagine what's going on here in Texas. Hundreds of thousands of oil and gas platforms all over Texas. Okay, we go further over here to the southwest here. Southwestern Texas, you see swarms of earthquakes here. Now, I want to take you back about 4 years. 4 years ago, we had 1 or 2, maybe 3 earthquakes here. Now it's closer to 50 earthquakes every day. 20 to 50 earthquakes here every day. This is a 0.7 minor microquake. This is a 1.3 tremor here. Microquakes and tremors all over this area. Oil and gas fracking earthquakes. This is a 2.0 earthquake here. Over here at this operation here, look at this. This is a 2.0 earthquake here. Just to the southeast of there is also 2.0. This is a 2.2 here. This is a 1.2 tremor here. This is a 1.6 tremor. This is a 1.6. And this is a 0.9 microquake. Look at the oil and gas platforms here. We have an earthquake within 6 to 10 miles of an oil and gas platform. That means they are oil and gas earthquakes, and that is exactly what we have here. Oil and gas fracking earthquakes, southwestern Texas. They're going to continue. It's not going to stop. Not going to stop at all. Now, before I get going on the Pacific Northwest, I want to stop here in Utah. Why? Now, earlier this week, we identified earthquakes down here near St. George, Utah, and Enterprise, Utah. That's because of volcanic action. They have supposedly distinct or extinct or dormant volcanoes down here. They're not. All volcanoes around the world are not dormant. They're not extinct either. They are reawakening. The volcanoes around the world are recharging. That is why we keep having movement down here. Magma down beneath the surface causes these earthquakes. They're not showing anything today. This is Enterprise, Utah. St. George, Utah is over here. Then we go north here. Right up here. This earthquake is a 2.2 minor earthquake here. But down here to the south, Black Rock Desert Volcano. Black Rock Desert Volcano down here. Over here in this area, see these mountain range here? Guess what? The same mountain range over in Salt Lake City. The same mountain range in Salt Lake City. Guess what? It's rocking. It's rocking. Even though this earthquake is right in the middle of the mountain range here, it's going to continue rocking. This is the 2.1 earthquake here. Let's go north. Right here to the east, Emory, Utah. Still in the mountain range here, guys. This is a 1.2 tremor here. This is a 1.3 tremor up here to the north. This is near Clear Creek, Utah. This is also a 1.2 tremor here. Let's go up and just south of Salt Lake City. This is Cedar Valley, Utah. See these mountain ranges here? These are called the Ochre Mountains. The Ochre Mountains. It's right on the east side of the Salt Lake Valley. We have a 1.0 tremor here. What's going on? What's going on, guys? This mountain range is lifting. This mountain range is lifting. The Ochre Mountain Range. Well, this area here, this huge fault zone, it's also lifting. It's moving. It's moving. This fault zone is very dangerous. Now, back in 2018, March 18th, 2018, right here, we saw a 5.6 large earthquake happen here. I lived over just 20 miles southeast of this earthquake. Where I lived in Sandy, Utah, it felt like a small earthquake, like a 3.0. 20 miles south of this 5.6. It was a large earthquake. It did millions of dollars of damage over here in Salt Lake City and the suburbs of Salt Lake City. Okay? We're going to have more earthquakes here. We are going to see more earthquakes here. Okay? All over this area. Now, this mountain range extends over here in southern Idaho, southeastern Idaho. What do we have here? This is a 2.1 earthquake here in Georgetown, Idaho. This is the northern part of this earthquake fault. The northern part of this earthquake fault extends down into central Utah. This earthquake fault has 7 different segments. We could have anywhere from a 6.5 to a 7.5 earthquake on any part of the fault. 7 different segments. The northern segment up here could have a 7.5 earthquake. This segment down here to the south could have a 7.5 earthquake. The segment over here in just outside of Salt Lake City could have a 7.5 earthquake here. The segment south of there, near Provo, could have another 7.5 earthquake. The segment south of Provo could have a 7.5 earthquake. And the southern segment down here could also have a 7.5 earthquake. 7 different segments. Or the whole fault could go off exactly at the same time. The whole fault zone could go off at the same time. From southeastern Idaho all the way down here in central Utah. Can you imagine having a 7.5 earthquake or even a 6.5 from southeastern Idaho down here into central Utah? It can happen. It can happen. You folks in Utah need to be prepared. You folks in Utah need to be prepared. At some point in time, it's going to happen. Over here, just northeast of Idaho, okay? Over here, Montana, Hebgen Lake, Montana. This is west of Hebgen Lake. Hebgen Lake is right there. This is a 1.0 tremor here. This is a 2.3 earthquake. This earthquake is a 3.2. West of Hebgen Lake here. Over here to the farther to the southwest here, this is Island Park, Idaho. Island Park, Idaho. Now, guys, there are 3 different volcanic calderas. 3 different volcanic calderas, each one of them linked to Yellowstone. One of the calderas stretches over here at Island Park. One of the volcanic calderas stretches all the way here in Island Park, Idaho. I've been in Island Park. I helped my dad build several fireplaces here in Island Park, Idaho, years ago. This is a 0.5 microquake here in Island Park, Idaho. Hebgen Lake, like I said, we have this minor tremor here. Actually, it's a 1.0 tremor here, and all the rest of these are 2-pointers. Okay, this is a 3.2 earthquake here, small 3.2 earthquake west of Hebgen Lake, Montana. Okay, over here, this is northwestern Yellowstone, Mammoth, Wyoming. If any of you have been here in Yellowstone, this Mammoth, Wyoming is a geyser basin called the Mammoth Geyser Basin. This is a 1.5 tremor, again associated with magma activity. Mammoth Geyser Basin, this is a 1.5 tremor here. They're not showing any other earthquakes or anything going on here in Yellowstone, but there are. They are all 1.0, 1.5, 1.7 tremors here. About 6 or 8 of them here in Yellowstone area. USGS doesn't want to admit to anything. Any questions about Yellowstone or Idaho? CG Kelly's asking, do I attend church? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Okay, now let's go over, we've talked about Southern California almost all week. Let's go over to the Pacific Northwest. I want to concentrate this discussion on the Pacific Northwest and what's going on here. Okay, first off, let's go up here into southwestern Canada, right here. This is 6 miles east-northeast of Abbotsford, Canada, British Columbia. USGS is calling this an explosion. Really? Why are they calling it an explosion? It's in a farm field. Underneath the farm field, they are not exploding anything. This is approximately 1/4 of a mile deep. 1.0 tremor here, not an explosion. Yes, it could be a spontaneous combustion plant. Could be a spontaneous combustion plant, but they're farming here. This is not an explosion. It's not an explosion at all. Okay, that's in Canada. Let's take a look at what's going on here in Washington and Oregon here. Over here, right next to Puget Sound, just southwest of Puget Sound here, is a 1.7 tremor here near Ludlow, Washington. Okay, on the other side of the Puget Sound here. This is a 0.9 microquake near Dupage, Washington. Dupage, Washington. That is northeast of Seattle, as you can see here. Okay, let's go further south. Again, we have another explosion, guys. When I saw this come out earlier last night, I'm going, what the heck? What the heck? Why is USGS labeling this explosion? It is west of Mount Rainier. It's not an explosion. Look at this lake. This near Capiston, Washington. Near Capiston, Washington. They labeled this a 1.8 explosion here. It's not. This is a 1.8 tremor here. This is 1/8 of a mile deep. There is no quarry near it. There is no quarry near it at all. Okay, the closest quarry is all about 450 miles away from it. 450 miles away from it. This is not an explosion at all. It's in a forested area here. Spontaneous combustus carnivorous, exploding tree here. Okay? Stupid USGS. They're trying to label something an explosion when it's a tremor. Possibly magma related. Magma in the magma chamber going off the Pacific Ocean over here towards Mount Rainier. Look at this. They're not showing any earthquakes at Mount Rainier, and I'm about to show you seismograms showing you the actual earthquakes, tremors, and microquakes happening at Mount Rainier now. Again, the USPS is lying to us, not showing us any activity at all. What a joke. What a freaking joke. Down here at Mount St. Helens, they're not showing us anything here. What a joke. West of Mount St. Helens, we have a quake. Okay? This is a 0.8 microquake here. This is approximately 19 miles north of Amboy, Washington. Okay? Unreal. Crazy. Just insanity. Let's go north to, or south to Mount Hood here. Look what we have happening here. This is again over on the southern rim of Mount Hood. This is a 0.1 microquake. And then USGS has the audacity to say this is 4 miles northeast of Government Camp. What a joke. This is at the summit of Mount Hood. This is also at the summit. This is a 0.6 microquake here. They say this is 1/8 of a mile. Or I shouldn't say 1/8. This is 8/10 of a mile from Government Camp. What a joke. What a joke. Government Camp is right down here at the base of Mount Hood. It's just not microquakes happening here at Mount Hood or tremors. We also have earthquakes happening here at Mount Hood. I'm going to show you those in just a minute. They're not showing anything hardly. They want us to believe nothing's going on. They want us to believe nothing's going on. There is. Let's go over here off the coast of Oregon here. This is a 1.8 tremor here off the coast of Yachats, Oregon. Yachats, Oregon. It's almost right smack dab in the middle between the Cascadia subduction zone and the coastline of Oregon. This is a 1.8 tremor here in the ocean. They're not showing hardly anything else in Oregon except down to the south, southwest of Medford. This is a 1.6 tremor here. This is 14 miles west-southwest of Klamath Falls, Oregon. Okay? A 1.6 tremor here. I'm going to take you down here into Northern California just for kicks and giggles. Right here. This is a 2.3 earthquake down here, 18 miles northeast of Redway, California, the Mendocino Fault. 2.3 earthquake on the Mendocino Fault. Let's go offshore here on the San Andreas, northern San Andreas here. This is the southern Cascadia subduction zone region. The southern Cascadia subduction zone region. This is a 2.6 earthquake on the San Andreas Fault. This is also a 1.6 tremor here on or in the Cascadia subduction zone region on the San Andreas Fault. South there, we have a 2.6 earthquake here in Laytonville, California. There's plenty of earthquakes all over California. But this one here, on the fault here, is related to the Cascadia region. These two earthquakes over here on the northern San Andreas Fault also related to the Cascadia subduction zone region. Okay, I think I made myself clear here. Now, for kicks and giggles, I could take you into San Diego County for just a minute. I want to show you something else that's happened here, if they even show it here now. I actually think they've taken it down. Go figure. They've taken it down, you guys. We have an earthquake just east of El Cajon. This is a 1.0 tremor over here near Alpine, California. It's a mountainous community just east of El Cajon here. 1.0 tremor. But also over here earlier, happened about 3 o'clock this morning. They said we had another blast, a quarry blast, nowhere near a quarry. But it was over here in this housing development right here. It wasn't a quarry blast at all, it was a tremor, a 1.6 tremor here. Again, USGS does not know what they're doing. They may have taken it down because they don't want anybody to see what they've done. It's incredible what they get away with here. Really incredible what they get away with. Over here at Palomar Mountain, this is a 0.6 microquake here at Palomar Mountain. I have a feeling there's more than that there. Okay? Rear to the south, Lake Henshaw, northeast of Escondido. This is a 0.6 microquake here. Closer to Escondido. Look at this. This is 4 miles southeast of Valley Center. I've been in Valley Center, California. I used to live here in Escondido. I used to also live south of Escondido over here in Poway, California. I've been here in Valley Center many times. I helped my dad build a church here in Valley Center as well. We have a 1.1 tremor over here in Valley Center, California. Kicks and giggles, guys. Kicks and giggles. I've given you a tour of the world now. I've shown you earthquakes over here in San Diego County. Or just another earthquake here. Over here in northern Mexico. Right here. This is just southwest of the San Andreas. This is a 3.5 earthquake over here in northern Baja California. This is near Estacion Cojilo, Baja California. 3.5 earthquake here. This is just southwest of the San Andreas Fault. Okay? Now I've shown you up here. I want to continue this discussion, showing you earthquakes in Washington, Oregon, and showing you volcanic action as well. So let's drop this fault here, or drop the USGS map here. I'm going to show you earthquakes now in North America. I'm going to show you earthquakes over along the coastline of Washington and Oregon. Okay? This one here, this is important. I think you're going to want to see this as well. Oregon, guys. Warrenton, Oregon. The Clatsop County Sheriff's Office has a seismograph here. That's what we're seeing here. This seismograph is what we're seeing here, guys. Guess what? Look at all the tremors here. There are no earthquakes on this particular seismograph. We have a bunch of tremors. And we also have some long duration pulse magma signals here. Magma pulse signals, okay? Look at these long duration magma pulse signals. These pulse signals show up on each and every horizontal line here. Why? Because there's magma here in Oregon headed for the volcanoes. Magma over here near the coastline of Oregon headed for the volcanoes. Okay, the thicker lines here you show are more magma. The thinner lines are less magma headed to the volcanoes. Also, you see tremors here caused by the magma churning through the magma channels here. That's what's going on. Okay, let's continue this. Let's go over to Detroit, Oregon. Detroit, Oregon. Look at this. This should give you chills if you live over here near Detroit, Oregon. Look at the top of this. These are harmonic tremors caused by a lot of magma rushing out through the magma channels from the Pacific over towards the volcanoes. Magma causing harmonics. Magma causing harmonics as it pulses through the magma channels headed for the volcanoes. Yes, on the one side, the the lower right-hand side of this seismogram, you see some earthquakes. You see some earthquakes. This earthquake happened after 9:43 this morning. This is a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake, followed by a 1.7, 1.8 tremor. That's what happened here. Okay? But I wanted to primarily focus on what happened yesterday afternoon with these harmonic tremors. A lot of magma pulsing under pressure through these magma channels here, called harmonic tremors, causing the ground to vibrate. Okay? Now, I want to continue to show you, I believe I have another one or two. Maybe I don't. I thought I had another one or two seismograms to show you here in Oregon. Oh, well, one more here, LC, Oregon. There's a school here near LC School. Look what's happening here. Again, the thicker lines are showing magma pulse signals here. More magma going through the magma channels, and the thinner lines are less magma here. Notice that the magma is causing tremors here. The magma is fracturing rock in the channels causing tremors here. I don't think we have much more than maybe 1, 2.0 earthquake here early this morning. You can see that on the horizontal black line. It's probably a 1.8, 1.9 tremor, but it's possible that it could be a 2.0 earthquake. Okay, that's LC, Oregon. Let's continue this. Now we're going to take a look at seismograms in Washington State. A lot of activity. Ton of activity. Let's start in northern Washington, Grays Harbor. Now, last week and the previous weeks, we showed you a lot of activity here at Grays Harbor. We showed you cotton picking earthquakes. I'm talking 3.0, 4.0 earthquakes here at Grays Harbor. Now, all we're showing you as minor earthquakes here, and a bunch of tremors and microquakes. That's all that's happened here at Grays Harbor. And that happened after 8 a.m. this morning, 8:30 a.m. this morning. Prior to that, all we had were microquakes and some tremors. So after 8:30 this morning, we had some minor earthquakes. 1.3, 1.6 tremors, and 2.0, 2.5 earthquakes after 8:30 this morning. Okay, Grays Harbor, Washington. Let's continue. Now, I wanted to try to show you magma in the magma channels here. This is the HHN channel. Notice the difference. Here we see some harmonic tremors going on, and then for the very first time, we're showing you that earthquake down here in the Solomon Islands. Okay, it happened after about 10:30 this morning, Pacific time. Okay, that's what you see here. The squiggly lines here are that earthquake down in the Solomon Islands. Okay, let's continue this conversation. Okay, Loomy Island. Loomy Island's over here in northwestern Washington. Look what's happening here. Yes, we still have magma pulse signals going on, but we're having earthquakes. Up here at the top red line here is 5:15 last night. Down here on this black line on the left-hand side, this is approximately 8:01 p.m. last night. 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. A bunch of tremors here. Then we drop down to early this morning. This blue lined earthquake here is after 8:30 in the morning, 8:30 in the morning on the left-hand side. Over here, now we are at about 8:14 a.m. Again, a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. We see preliminary seismic energy before that in the way of tremors and the buildup to the 2.8 earthquake. We see other earthquakes here on the next red line below that to the right. That's another 2.6, 2.7. Down here on the next blue line down here, actually not the next one, but the one after that, in the center here, we see a 2.3, 2.4 earthquake. On the red line down here towards the bottom, on the left-hand side. This is after 12:15 this afternoon. This is 12:20 this afternoon. 12:20 this afternoon, we have a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake here. Lumi Island. Lumi Island. Now, this may also not just be earthquakes related to the cascaded subduction zone. This also may be earthquakes related to the magma headed to the volcanoes. Okay? That's what's going on. As I spoke a few weeks ago, we spoke with my buddy Captain Ned, who lives here in this area. He visits this area on a frequent basis. He goes fishing here. He gets paid for fishing. Okay? He's told us what he has felt. Okay? He told us that the earthquakes felt like magma pulsing. Magma pulsing. Magma hydraulics. It's like water pumping or concrete pumping through a rubber concrete channel. Pumping the concrete from a truck over to where they want to lay concrete. That's what it's feeling like. That's what we're seeing here. Okay? Let's look at Ocean Shores, Washington next. Look at this. Again, in the past few weeks, we've seen these earthquakes here at Ocean Shores. Now, all we have here are microquakes. We have long duration tremors happening here at Ocean Shores. And down here at the bottom of the seismogram, more long-term tremors, and we're also having some minor earthquakes as well. Minor earthquakes and minor tremors here at Ocean Shores, Washington, related to magma. This is all magma down here. Okay? Now, I want to go over to Orcas Island Airport, East Sound, Washington. What do we have last night after 5 p.m.? Microquakes, and you see some tremors here. We have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16 tremors here. 16 tremors here last night. Now, we have a time period between, say, 9:30 last night and early this morning. No activity. They have turned down the seismograph. Again, this is a turn down of the seismograph. They basically shut it off. Nothing showing. That's not natural. Considering what we've seen here, this is not natural. The seismologists have turned it down, not wanting to even show what's going on here. Look at the earthquakes and the magma activity here. This is this morning and early this afternoon. Late morning, early afternoon here. We're seeing some minor earthquakes. Yes, we're seeing some tremors. And down here at the bottom, we're seeing magma pulse signals. Magma pulsing through the ground here. Orcas Island, Washington. Orcas Island, Washington. Now, I'm going to hurry here because I want to show you a lot of information. And then we're going to show you volcanoes here. This is also along the coastline of Washington. This is the Tioga law enforcement unit for the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife. Look at this. Look at this. These are magma pulse signals, and we have earthquakes here. Look at the magma pulsing through the magma channels beneath the surface, the ground that we walk on. This shows a lot of activity. And down at the bottom, we're seeing a lot of this activity that we see at the top. Down at the bottom, we're also seeing harmonics, meaning the ground constantly vibrating. The ground harmonics, caused by magma moving beneath the surface in the magma channels. Ground harmonics. Okay. Now, I think that's all we're going to show you as to what's happening along the coastline. But there's something else. There's something else here. Look at this. Folks, this is the tremor map from the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network. Look at the tremors over here in southern Vancouver Island. Then we drop down here to basically southern Washington over here west of Portland and northwest of Salem. There are 88 epicenters stretching from Vancouver Island down here. 88 epicenters. Down here, south of Medford, south and west of Medford, we have more tremors down here. What are they not showing us? I just showed you hundreds of tremors and microquakes as well as earthquakes up and down the coastline, Oregon and Washington. They're not showing us. They only want us to imagine that there are 88 tremors here along the coastline. What a joke. Again, the agencies are lying through their teeth. They're showing us 88 tremors, and I just got through showing you at least 200 or 300. And that's not all. I could have showed you more. There's a lot more. They are lying through their teeth, guys. Completely lying through their teeth. Now, let's go to the volcanoes. Look at Mount Baker. Heavy-duty harmonics. Heavy-duty volcanic harmonics here. Magma moving through the volcano, causing the ground to vibrate. Look at this. Look at this, guys. This is at a volcano. We showed you ground harmonics near the coastline of Washington. Now you see the harmonics here at the volcano. This volcano, Mount Baker, is just south of the Canadian border. Okay? Just barely south of the Canadian border, but it's not all. Let me show you another one here at Mount Shuksan. This seismogram here shows you magma that's getting pulled or pushed through the volcano. The wavy lines here are called VLF waves, very low frequency waves caused by magma under pressure entering the volcanic chamber here at Mount Baker. This is what's actually going on. Up at the top, you see those harmonics. You see a large amount of magma under pressure here. A lot of magma coming into the magma chamber. Down at the bottom, the same thing. That's why you saw harmonics on the seismogram. Okay? That's what's happening. Now, let's drop southwest, 40 miles southwest to Glacier Peak. USGS and the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network only have one seismograph on Glacier Peak. Several years ago, they were talking about putting 5 more up here, but they haven't done it. Only because of the marmots. The environmentalists, the tree-hugging, I hate saying this. It truly makes me upset. The The tree-hugging environmentalists don't want those seismographs on the mountain. Oh, they're going to disrupt the marmot population. Once the machines are on the mountain, they don't take much care. Maybe once a year going up there to check on the machine, that's all. Humans are not going to interfere with marmots. The hikers are up here all the time. The hikers and the environmentalists come up here on the mountain all the time. But heaven forbid they put seismographs up here to monitor what's going on at Glacier Peak. They're showing minimal activity here. They're showing minimal activity. They're basically showing microquakes and only like 4, 5 other minor tremors. They're showing one earthquake here. One earthquake here, guys. What a joke. What a joke. There are more than that. If they had the proper seismographs, we would see earthquakes all over Glacier Peak. We'd see earthquakes all over Glacier Peak. But on this blue line here, this is a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. This is at approximately 8:30, actually 8:41 a.m. this morning. 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. 8:31 this morning. Maybe 5 or 6 tremors, and the rest are all microquakes here. Glacier Peak. Let's drop down to Mount Rainier. Oh, how I've loved waiting to show you this. Okay, I've done a great deal of research here at Mount Rainier today. A ton of it. This is Camp Sherman. Look at all the earthquake activity at Camp Sherman on Mount Rainier. Look at this. Earthquakes all over the mountain. Yet I showed you the earthquake map. They're not showing any of this at Camp Sherman. They're not showing any of the other earthquakes around Mount Rainier. Look what's happening here. Over here after 15 hours. That's 6:15 over on the far left side. This is 6:18. This is a 2.3, 2.4 earthquake. Over here on the right side, on that big, I shouldn't say big, but that fairly small magma churn signal that's in black here. You can't see the top of it, so we can't see exactly what happened with this magma churn signal. But let me explain magma churn signals. The black rectangular space is usually 23 to 24 lines high. We're not seeing that. We're only seeing 5 lines here. I believe that magma churn signal was probably 8 lines high, meaning the seismograph that was recording this information only is showing us approximately 30% of real world. Those straight vertical lines here up to the right are steam signals. Mount Rainier is steaming, guys. Mount Rainier is steaming. 6 to 7% of all magma is water. Water. Magma reaches upwards of 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit. As a result, when that plug of the volcano at Mount Rainier gets hit with all this magma that you see coming here, and yes, we're seeing earthquakes here, when the plug of the volcano is getting hit over and over and over every day with a lot of magma underneath the plug is getting shattered. The plug has developed fissures in the plug, small cracks in the plug. The small cracks are letting hot water vapor filled with volcanic gases, SO2 and CO2 gases, letting those gases and the water vapor escape. When that hot water vapor escapes through those fissures, it enlarges those fissures, which is causing that plug to literally come apart. At some point in time, that plug is going to dissolve. It's going to pop. It's going to pop just like that. Boom. Just like that. Figure my fingers here. All these parts between my fingers. Look at those fissures. Think of those as fissures in the plug of the volcanoes. letting water vapor escape, just like this. Letting water vapor escape just like this. That's what's happening. Hot water expands those holes. Hot water vapor expands those holes, makes them larger. And as that expansion happens, that plug of the volcano completely becomes apart. At some point in time, it will completely come apart and there will be an eruption of this volcano. But be advised, over on the northwestern side of the volcano, there's a huge bulge. On the northwestern side of the volcano, there's a huge bulge. As we saw that happen in 1980. In 1980, the bulge of Mount St. Helens blew out. It erupted. Yes, we can have an eruption up to the top, the summit of Mount Rainier, but with that bulge that's happening over on the northwest side of Mount Rainier, and thinking what happened with Mount St. Helens, this volcano could also have a lateral explosion out the side of the volcano. It's called a lateral explosion. Then the top of the volcano would almost dissolve like this, fall down. When Mount St. Helens erupted, Mount St. Helens lost 300 feet off the top of Mount St. Helens. That may happen here at Mount Rainier. But again, the plugs of the volcanoes are cracking, letting steam escape. We've already seen snow and ice melt at the top of the volcano. A lot of hot magmas up there that has melted the ice and snow from the top of the volcano. Considering all the steam element that's going on there, guess what? We're going to have an eruption at Mount Rainier very soon. Look at these other earthquakes here. Over here on the right, let's look at this, okay? We're here on the right, on the black line there. This black line, let me move something here. Over on the right-hand side, this earthquake happened after 11 p.m. last night. And over here, this is approximately 11:56, or not 11:56, I'm sorry, 11:16 p.m. last night. This is a 2.9 3.0 earthquake at Mount Rainier. Yes, we're having earthquakes. We're having minor earthquakes and we're having small earthquakes at Mount Rainier. Why is USGS not showing these earthquakes? Not showing one. Not showing one. I've already shown you probably 4 dozen tremors. I've already shown you a bunch of tremors here, and I've also shown you earthquakes that are happening. Now, on this blue line you see here, this blue vertical line here, that vertical line happened after 1:30 this morning. This is Pacific time. Do you see a dot in the middle of that earthquake? It's not an earthquake. That's a steam signal. If you see vertical lines here, however short they might be or however long they might be, it doesn't have a dot in the middle of it. That's a steam signal. Mount Rainier is steaming, just like we saw up at the top of this, top right here, with this magma churn signal. Those lines out to the right of that magma churn signal are also showing steam. Mount Rainier is steaming, guys. Mount Rainier is steaming. We also see earthquakes here all over. Now let's go over here to this bottom magma churn signal. This is going to give us a good idea about exactly how far the seismologists have turned down the seismograph. Let's look at this. Down here at the bottom, we cannot see the other horizontal lines here, but we can estimate what it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lines high. 9 lines high. This seismograph has basically been turned to about 35 to 40% of real world. So the earthquakes we're seeing here are actually large earthquakes. This 3.0 you saw here is probably closer to 3.5, 3.7 small earthquake. And yet USGS is not showing anything like that. They're not showing you tremors. They're not showing you microquakes. They're not showing you real earthquakes. Again, the USGS is lying through their teeth. You have to find the data. When you go searching for data, you get real information. When you search through the data, you find real information. That's Camp Sherman. Let's go over to Camp Muir here at Mount St. Helens. Or no, I'm sorry, Mount Rainier. Camp Muir at Mount Rainier. Look at this. Camp Muir is not showing us half of the earthquakes that we saw over here at Camp Sherman. But we still see a lot of activity here at Camp Muir. Up at the top, the black line here at the top is 5 p.m. The red line is 5:15. Below that is 6:15 on the red line. Okay? All you see here are tremors and minor earthquakes. I'm sorry, microquakes and tremors here. We don't have any minor earthquakes whatsoever, except over here after approximately no, it's not. It's after 7 a.m. Over here on the right-hand side, 7 a.m. is over on the left. This is approximately 7:14 a.m. this morning. Probably a 2.2 earthquake, 2.2, 2.3 earthquake. But they're hardly showing us anything. Microquakes and tremors here. That's all. I believe they've turned down the seismograph here as well. Otherwise, we'd see earthquakes like we did at Camp Sherman. Okay? Now, let's continue this conversation here real quick. I want to go over here to I want to go over here to another seismograph at Rushing Water Creek. This is also here at Mount Rainier. Why do I want to show you this? Because it's showing all of the magma coming into Mount Rainier here. These are the VLF waves here. These are the VLF waves caused by magma coming into the magma chamber here, caused by pressure. Pressurized magma coming into the volcano here. The wavier the lines, the more magma that's coming in here. Now, if we go back to Camp Sherman, you saw a lot of earthquakes, and you'd probably see a lot more if the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network and USGS would allow that to happen. The more magma coming into the magma chamber, the more earthquakes we're going to have. But it didn't show that. It only showed a handful of earthquakes and a bunch of tremors. This is what's actually happening at Mount Rainier. You can't find this information by just looking at their map. They're not going to show you that. They're going to deny it's happening. But the data proves otherwise. The data proves otherwise. Let's go down to Mount St. Helens. Good old Mount St. Helens. Now, the first one here at Mount St. Helens I'm going to show you is Sugar Bowl. Let's start off with Sugar Bowl here. Sugar Bowl is the north side of Mount St. Helens. Here we're seeing a bunch of tremors, and we're seeing an earthquake here. We're seeing an earthquake here. I'm enlarging this so you can see what I'm showing you here. Look at the top of this. The top of it at 5 p.m. up at the top is only showing you microquakes and tremors. That's all. That's all. But again, overnight, they turn the seismograph down. So you don't see much of anything until later in the morning. We come down here just after approximately 9 a.m. 9 a.m. we see this large, well, it's not large, I'm sorry, this 2.9, 3.0 earthquake happening here after 9 a.m. 9 a.m. over here on the left, this is about 9:10 a.m. here. 2.9, 3.0 earthquake, and out to the right is a secondary wave. That secondary wave lasts about 40 seconds. Secondary waves, we try to work that in to show you how powerful that earthquake is. In this case, it's only 45 seconds long. The secondary wave is, and then that will show us that we have a 2.93.0 earthquake here at Mount St. Helens. You see that other earthquake here later on this morning? Again, that's the Solomon Island earthquake, the 6.3 Solomon Island earthquake this morning. Okay, that's what we're showing you here. The seismographs around the world are recording another earthquake. Now let's go over here and show you another one here at Mount St. Helens. This is the main seismograph here at Mount St. Helens September lobe. September lobe. The Sugar Bowl earthquake happened later this morning, didn't it? Look at the earthquake we have here last night. Just after 9:15 last night. About 9:03 last night, we had some tremors to build up to a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake, and then ultimately ended up with a 3.0 earthquake that happened over a period of about 10, 12 seconds. 3.0 earthquake that happened over 10 to 12 seconds here. Then we had the secondary wave. The secondary wave in this case lasted nearly a minute. So this earthquake was actually a 3.0 earthquake. 2.9, 3.0 earthquake. Yes, they're showing some microquakes here. They are also showing some tremors here. They're also showing some magma pulse signals here. Some magma pulse signals showing you magma coming into Mount St. Helens right here. You see it here. You see it here. But let me show you the other seismogram here from September lobe. Okay? The BDF-CC01 seismogram. Look at this. This shows you what happened last night and early this morning. Look at all that magma early this morning. This proves the earthquake that happened early this morning, late last night. Look at that. Heavy duty magma pouring into Mount St. Helens from 5 p.m. until about 1 or 2 a.m. this morning. Then it got a lot less. Okay, that's what happened. It doesn't show much of any activity after that, though. After about 2 a.m., it stopped. But again, this may be due to the seismologist turning down the sensitivity of the seismograph. So it's not going to show anything. Okay, that's what we're showing here. Okay, Mount St. Helens is active. Mount St. Helens could also erupt. There are enough earthquakes happening at Mount St. Helens, and Mount St. Helens is also steaming. Mount St. Helens is also looking like it's going to erupt as well. Yet USGS says it's a green earthquake, meaning none of these earthquakes are going to be responsible for an eruption. But it's showing the activity there. That's the key here. It's showing us the activity. Let's go over here to Mount Hood. Again, they didn't show any activity at Mount Hood whatsoever. Guess what? There is plenty of activity here at Mount Hood. A lot of it. Let's look at Timberline. Look here at Timberline. Look at this. Is this a lot of activity or what? Yes, we're seeing earthquakes. We're seeing microquakes here. We're seeing tremors. And what do we have here at the bottom? Late morning, early afternoon here, harmonic tremors. The ground is vibrating here at Mount Hood. This is from Timberline, which is a seismograph sitting at government camp at the base of Mount Hood. Yes, we're seeing earthquakes here. Yesterday evening, last night, we're seeing 2.7, 2.8, even 2.9 earthquakes here yesterday evening. And you're seeing some activity here early this morning on the blue line here. And lower center part of the seismogram here. Mount St. Helens is moving. Mount Hood is moving. Mount Rainier is moving. Let's show us Palmer Lift. Palmer Lift is a ski resort at Mount Hood. What's going on? Let's show you. Look at this. Again, we're seeing microquakes. We're showing you minor earthquakes all over the place. We're also showing you magma pulse signals, magma coming into the volcano here at the top. What's down here at the bottom? More harmonic tremors. Magma coming in under pressure, causing the ground to vibrate. Harmonic tremors. Let's show you another seismogram coming from Palmer Lift. This is the HHN part of the seismogram. This is showing you magma coming into the volcano at Palmer Lift. Look at that other seismogram here at Palmer Lift showed you earthquakes here. That makes sense with all the magma coming into the magma chamber. Down here at the bottom, even on this HHN seismogram, we're still seeing harmonic tremors. Magma movement within the volcano causing the ground to vibrate. Mount Hood, guys. Mount Hood. Now, I do not think that Mount Hood is getting ready to erupt, but there is a lot of activity at Mount Hood. A ton of activity at Mount Hood. Can't deny it, it's moving. Now, I want to show you some other activity here south of there over at Sisters Volcano. Look at this. Sisters Volcano is actually 3 different volcanoes. There's only one seismogram that is recording information at the Sisters complex. There's a Sisters North Volcano, there's a Central Volcano, and there's a Southern Volcano, with only one seismograph reporting the information. Up at the top, look what we're showing you here. The thicker lines here, magma pulse signals. The thicker lines indicate a lot of magma coming into the magma chamber here. We're also seeing rock fracturing. The magma coming into the magma chamber here is causing rock fracturing. Look at these earthquakes on these vertical lines here. We're having tremors, we're having microquakes, and over here on this red line here, after 8:30. After 8:30. Approximately 8:38 p.m. last night. 2.6, 2.7 earthquake. Down here at the bottom. Down here at the bottom. These long rectangles don't mean anything. Disregard that. That's called abstract. It's crap. It's garbage. But look at these earthquakes here at the bottom. Sisters volcanoes are moving. These are earthquakes. These are tremors. These are minor 2.5, 2.8 earthquakes here. Sister volcano, guys. Now, does anybody have any questions? No, I did not show you. Crater Lake. Crater Lake is moving. Crater Lake is moving. They only have one seismograph at Crater Lake that's doing anything. USGS and the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network have turned off the other seismographs completely. Only one other seismograph showing any kind of activity. Any questions? Nova Scotia Ridge Quake is saying Indonesia is always popping. It is, you're right. Indonesia has approximately 40 earthquakes today. 40 earthquakes. Unreal. If the USGS was doing its job reporting earthquakes, there'd probably be 1,900 earthquakes today around the world. They say there's only 288. Oh, let me, just a second. Let me go check really quick. Let me check real quick how many earthquakes they say that we are having here. Now they're showing 313 earthquakes worldwide, but I've already shown you 400 plus earthquakes happening in Southern California, down south of LA. Probably another 500, or actually another 400 earthquakes happening in the Los Angeles area. That's 800 earthquakes right there. Together with what I've shown you already in California, Oregon, and Washington, guess what? Now we're showing you 1,200 earthquakes when they're only showing us 312. What a joke. What a joke. They're not showing you other earthquakes around the world either. F35C is asking us a question. Could Alaska see something tomorrow with Putin and Trump? No. No, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen. All Alaska is doing is putting up minor tremors, minor earthquakes, and that's it. We're not going to see a major earthquake. We're not going to see a large earthquake in Alaska at all. Not tomorrow. Not tomorrow. I just don't think it's possible. There isn't enough energy there at all. Yes, we've seen that energy over at Kamchatka Peninsula, but so far we've not hardly seen any activity in the Aleutian Islands that would point to a large earthquake happening in Alaska tomorrow. Yes, I think President Trump is probably going to leave for Alaska tonight, arriving there early in the morning to meet with President Putin later on in the morning tomorrow morning. And that's going to happen. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens in Alaska tomorrow morning with Trump and Putin. That's a good question. I appreciate you asking that question. Thank you for that. Does anybody else have any questions with anything going on? There's a lot of stuff going on. A ton of it. A ton of it. We can't ignore any of it. USGS wants us to ignore it. I can't. I'm not going to. I can't. It's impossible to ignore. I'm just not going to do it. We have to be real with each other. We have to know what's going on. If we don't know what's going on, there's going to be a major event. And we're going to see people hurt or killed. I don't want that to happen. Yes, we may still see people hurt or killed, but at least some of those people, if not all of them, will have had a chance to prepare for what's going to happen. As Demon Catman has just said here in the chat, I pay hundreds a month for bandwidth to get the information to you, to be able to broadcast this channel. Again, the last broadcast we had, the last for maybe 15 minutes, was cut off by YouTube. Bandwidth was fine, I checked it. We had plenty of bandwidth. We had nearly 600 millibytes per second of bandwidth. That's plenty. YouTube cut off our channel completely after 15 minutes. The questions come up from HHGF35C says, could September 7th, the next blood moon see more seismic activity? Anytime we see a full moon, there's going to be more scientific or seismographic activity. It's going to happen. Seismic activity occurs during full moons and also full planet alignments. Right now we have Earth, Venus, and Neptune in alignment. No, not Neptune. Earth, Venus, and Jupiter in alignment. Venus is just as large as the Earth. When we have planetary alignments, guys, when we have planetary alignments, that causes, the planetary alignments themselves causes electromagnetic radiation to hit the Earth. The planetary alignments cause electromagnetic energy to hit the Earth. That electromagnetic radiation causes earthquakes. The faults and the tectonic plates are held together by friction. All that gunk and grime that's holding the plates and the earthquake faults in place gets dissolved somewhat by the electromagnetic radiation or the plasma radiation from the sun. When that happens, all that friction dissolves. All that rock, all the sand, all the dirt, All the biological material turns into an oily, greasy-like substance that allows the plates and the faults to more freely move like this. That causes earthquakes. So when we have a full moon, when we have planetary alignments, that electromagnetic radiation heats up the faults, heats up the plates, and then we have earthquakes. That's why we've seen the earthquakes down in Indonesia and down in the South Pacific. That's why we've seen the large and very strong earthquakes down there. Now, we do have enough planetary alignments and also plasma radiation from solar flares on the sun that could cause the same kind of thing to happen. The solar flares reaching out into space, carrying plasma radiation at approximately 650 miles per second. Imagine that. Plasma radiation going out into space, traveling at approximately 650 miles per second. That's flying. Plasma radiation hits the Earth like this. Envelopes the Earth. The Earth side facing the sun gets the brunt of the plasma radiation, where the plasma radiation completely engulfs the Earth like this. That's going to cause earthquakes around the world. That's what happens. Okay? Kenny Tawaria says, enjoying a thunderstorm. At the beginning of this program tonight, we had some thunderstorms going on. They've ended right now. All we are having here is light rain. That's it. That's all we're having here. We had thunderstorms after 4 p.m., around 4 p.m. tonight, and we're still having light rain going on now. Nova Scotia Rich Quake is asking, am I going to be around Saturday around 11 a.m.? Yes, I am. If you want me to come on your program on Saturday, probably can do that. Okay? HHGFC or F35C just welcomed, we want to welcome him in to EMA 1 in the membership. Okay? Now, I was planning on having a membership only broadcast early this morning, but I was too tired. My wife and I were talking to our children early this morning until 3 a.m. That's why I was not up at 10. I'm sorry about that. Now, I will still try to have members only broadcasts probably tomorrow morning. I hope. But again, tomorrow afternoon, we will be doing an EMA Friday emergency preparedness. We do that on Friday. We'll also talk about earthquakes prior to our preparedness talk that I'm going to be giving you. Now, if you want to help support us, as Demon Catman put up earlier, go to the PayPal location you see coming across your screen. Down to the bottom of the screen. You see our PayPal locations. You can go there and give us donations. Also, scrolling across your screen is our email address and our mailing address. Our email address is rltnspdema@gmail.com. Our mailing address here is 504 Bethel Road, Box 401. Morganton, North Carolina. The zip code here is 28655. You can send us a letter. You can send us a card. Inside the letter or card, you can stick a check or cash. It gets through to us. About a month ago, we received a card with a check in it. We appreciate that very much. We do. Please send us support here. We greatly appreciate it. Keep this program on the air. I love each and every one of you guys. I really do. Please support our channel. We need that support. Guys, we will be back here tomorrow after 4 p.m. Eastern Time with another episode of Emergency Management Associates. Guarantee it. Take that to the bank. Have a good night and a better tomorrow. If you have any questions, you can reach us over at our email address. I will answer you. Also, after this program, you'll see a comment section at the bottom of this video today. You'll see comments. You can go ahead and leave us comments. I will answer your comments as well. I see them and I will answer them. May God bless you. May God be with you this day and always. Now, before that, I almost forgot. before that. At the end of our program, we try to have a small devotional. I'm going to the book of Matthew in the New Testament. I'm going to chapter 22. Okay? Why am I going there? We're talking about the Sadducees and Pharisees. We're talking about the chief priests. We're talking about Pilate. Okay? In chapter 22, verse 15. Then went the Pharisees and took counsel how they might entangle him, being Christ, in his talk. And they sent out unto him their disciples and the Herodians, saying, Master, we know that thou art true. Teach us the way of God in truth. Neither carest thou for any man, for thou regardest not the person of man. Tell us therefore, what thinkest thou? Is it lawful to give tribute unto Caesar or not? But Jesus perceived their wickedness, and said, Why tempt ye hypocrites? Why tempt ye hypocrites? We've seen Christ tempted by the Sadducees and Pharisees. We've seen the hypocrites from the Herodians, meaning the people that followed after Herod. Remember when Christ was born, and Herod wanted to kill all the children, all the newborn children? The wise men didn't do it. They didn't want any part of what Herod was doing, and the angels warned them about that. So they went home a different way to avoid Herod and his armies. This is all about eliminating Jesus Christ. Guys, let's not tempt Christ. Let's do the things that Christ would have us do. Let's continue to walk in Christ's footsteps. Let's continue to preach Christ. Let's continue to act like Christians, good men and women. Bourbon Fury says, what about the swarming at the geysers in California? I've explained that many times in the past. I'll quickly explain it right now. The swarming happening at the geysers is normal. The seismic energy comes off the Pacific, goes into Northern California, just 100 miles north of San Francisco Bay at the geysers facility. What's happened at the geysers? Men have drilled into the upper magma chambers of a volcano. In fact, let's go back to the USGS map briefly here. Let me shut down our banner here. Let's take off our webcam just briefly. Let's go over here to the geysers facility here. Look at these earthquakes, guys. Look at these earthquakes in the geysers facility. Men have drilled into the Clear Lake volcano here. See the Clear Lake here? It's a volcano. Men have drilled into the upper magma chambers of the volcano here to obtain steam, to power turbines here in the area of Sonoma County, California, in the mountains of Sonoma County, California. This is normal. Sometimes we have as little as 20 earthquakes here a day. Sometimes as much as 40 earthquakes. Most of these are microquakes and tremors. Most of these are microquakes and tremors. It appears there's probably close to 50 earthquakes here today. Look at that swarm. This is more than normal. Each one of these earthquakes here, each one of these tremors represents the inline drilling of men drilling into the upper magma chambers of that volcano. Why? Why do that? As you see here, right there. See that line of turbines here? This line of turbines takes all the steam from the volcano and turns it into electricity. On each of these roads here. Now, I can't get close enough to show you these roads. In fact, let me see if my device, I think my device can get in closer. On the side of each of these roads are PVC pipe. The side of each of these roads are PVC pipe. The PVC pipe goes, let me bring this down here. See where it says Big Geyser Road here? Just south of the Big Geyser Road are drill points. Drill points. Meaning drill points are where we drilled into the surface of the earth to go over to the upper magma chambers of the volcano to obtain steam to power these turbines here. There are other footprints here as well. Let me find another one here. There's a bunch of other drill points here as well. In fact, see Big Geyser Road here? See this facility that also has turbines here? Just off to the left or west of that facility here are another set of drill points. Drill points pulls steam from the volcano and injects it over these turbines to allow the turbines to generate electricity for four or five energy conglomerates, one of them being Pacific Gas and Electric. That's why we're having earthquakes. Seismic energy from the Pacific Ocean comes over here in Northern California and hits these drill points, causing rock fracturing. That's what's happening here. Rock fracturing causing earth movement in the way of earthquakes. That's what's happening, you guys, every day. Sometimes we have as little as 20 earthquakes. Sometimes, like today, I believe we probably have over 50 earthquakes here in the geysers area. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. Now, let me see if I can bring up the Sonoma County facility here on my device and see if we can get closer showing you the drill points and also the earthquakes and the turbine facilities. I think we can do that. And actually, my device shows over 100 earthquakes. My device here shows over 100 earthquakes. Let me take this seismograph or take this map off here and show you my webcam. Want to show you this. Look at this. Over 100 earthquakes there. Over 100 earthquakes there. That lake there is Clear Lake Volcano. Over 100 earthquakes. We don't normally see 100 earthquakes here. Okay, let me zoom in here. This is clearly going to show you the drill points right there. These are drill points. There are over 81 turbines in the geysers facility in the hills of Sonoma County, California. This just one set of drill points here. Okay. Now, with those drill points, look at the PVC pipes there. These PVC pipes are taking the steam, pumping it from the drill points over to the facilities to produce electricity. Okay, let me do this. Come on, show me a turbine facility here, guys. They have turbine facilities all over here. There's a total of 81 turbines here. This is the close-up of the turbine facilities right there. And those PVC pipes are carrying the hot steam to these turbines to generate electricity. Okay. That's what's going on in Sonoma County, California. So now you get the real step here. Look at all these earthquakes here. This is just some of them. This is just some of them. We've seen as few as 20, 25 earthquakes a day. Now we have over 100. We have over 100 here. Incredible. That was a great question. Thank you for that. Sergey says that could be a very bad day if something happened to that facility. You're right. You're right. Yes, we've had, these are all microquakes and tremors, guys. Each of these are microquakes. Well, not, excuse me. I shouldn't say that. There could probably be some minor earthquakes there as well. And I'm talking 2.0 to 2.9 earthquakes. Right now, all we've seen are tremors. Right now, all we've seen, this is a 1.3 tremor here. But there are microquakes here. There are also tremors here as well. This is a microquake here. I'm trying to enlarge this here so you can see it there. This is a 0.21 microquake. 0.21 microquake there. Tremors and microquakes all over this area. 1.36, 1.07, 0.99, 1.0 tremor. 1.33, 0.54 microquake. 0.6, 1.0 tremor again. Tremors and microquakes all over this area. I don't see any 2.0, 3.0 earthquakes. Yes, we've seen those in the past. Linda has a question here. Let me scroll through here and see if I can find it. Linda's asking, is Santa Cruz, California safe from an earthquake? No. No. Santa Cruz can get hit as well as everything else in California. Santa Cruz, you're probably going to see upwards of a 5.0, 6.0 quake in Santa Cruz. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Bourbon Fury was asking about all the swarming of the geysers. I just explained that. Yes, we're going to have at least a 5.5 to 6.0 earthquake in Santa Cruz, possibly even larger. Nova Scotia Rich is saying they're having active wildfires near him in Nova Scotia within 29 miles. Not surprising. All you guys over on the east coast of Canada are receiving the smoke coming in from Western Canada. There are wildfires all over Western Canada, and the prevailing winds are taking that smoke over the east side of Canada and also over into northern territory of the United States. We're seeing that smoke. Things are going to happen. Things are going to happen all over the place, guys. It's going to happen all over the place. Just pray for rain. Pray for no thunderstorms, though. Thunderstorms could cause fires. Right now, I'm seeing a huge black cumulonimbus cloud above us right now outside the windows of our office here. Incredible. So we probably are going to see thunderstorms here probably for the rest of the day and night. Let me do this. Let me try to find, not going to be hard. I have right now they don't have any active alerts for thunderstorms, but what I'm going to show you here is the weather map with weather around us. To the northeast, look at all that. All that rain and thunderstorms in the orange and red here, all those thunderstorms have moved northeast of us. See that orange and red there? Those are thunderstorms. Yes, we just got through getting rained on, but it looks like right now we have more clouds around us. It's not showing up on this particular map. We have all kinds of clouds around us. Like I said, great big huge black cumulonimbus cloud above us right now. So we're probably going to get more rain right now. very shortly. And look at this. Look at all this rain down south into the west. We're going to see plenty of rain and thunderstorms all night long. All night long. Now, over in Alabama, Mississippi, Alabama, even down into Louisiana. Look at all these thunderstorms and rain down here. Down here in the southern Midwest here, down here here in southern central United States, you guys are going to get nailed. You guys are going to see rain. You're going to see heavy rain, thunderstorms, and possibly even tornadoes down here tonight. Please be safe out there. Please be safe out there. If you're in a thunderstorm, you have a thunderstorm warning, seek cover immediately. Go to a storm shelter or go to the center of your home, away from windows, away from the outside walls of your home. Stay there until the all clear is given, or there's no more thunderstorms or tornadoes available. Stay there. If you're in the center of your home, also you might want to pull a mattress off of a bed and put it over the top of you, especially if there's a tornado that's going to be hitting. Okay? Remnant Truth is saying, not too far from you, Ron. I'm in Iron Station. Wow. Yeah. Be careful out there, too. Guys, I love you. I care about you. I wouldn't even bother with this. Okay? I spend a lot of time every day. I spend 8 to 12 hours a day putting this information together for all of you. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. That's why I appreciate your support. Again, down at the bottom of your screen today, you see our PayPal addresses scrolling across the bottom. You also see our mailing address. Please, guys, if you find it within your heart and you can, send us donations. We appreciate to keep this program on the air. It helps. Every little bit helps. God bless you. God be with you this day and always. God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side. Take care, everybody. Much love.